So I just finished watching the video about the wolves and the sheep. So let me see the name of the video. Oh gosh, I cannot believe I forgot the name of the video. But here is what I gather from the video, from the book Read Aloud. It was really interesting, and I like that. Even though it was a storybook type setup or a fairy tale fable somewhat, it still showed and gave great examples that grown-ups can use. Grown-ups could use these, and organizations can grow from this. So to answer the first question, what is one key lesson that I learned from this story? First of all, just like I said, we can all learn. There's an opportunity for us to learn in any capacity. But from this particular story, I learned that working collectively together as a team really does solve problems. We need strong leaders like Otto to help get the message out and more believable so that others will follow. Because if leaders are not strong and can believe they can overcome something, they're going to have a hard time getting their subordinates or individuals, even staff or even other counterparts to believe in them and their message. So leaders also need to be able to listen to others' ideas, because as being part of a team, as we read in the books and this semester, that it didn't say this, but we all know that there's no I in team. A leader feeds off of his team, and a team feeds off of the leaders. So if the leader is not strong and confident in whatever message they're trying to relay, then everything's going to fall apart. And I'm thankful that Otto was so strong in his beliefs that even when he went to heaven, his dream was still able to be fulfilled. And I'm jumping a little bit ahead of myself because I did write some notes down here. So when I go to prompt 2, discuss some of the connections you made from your own work experience as it regards to change. If you really want change or to change a problem, you must be willing to learn. Once again, no one knows everything. No one knows everything. And even I learned from my son, and I learned from others. I learned from my students as well, because we don't know everything about everything, and there's always room to grow. And if you are and put yourself in that position to know that there are some things that you're not going to know off bat, and you're not going to understand, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be stronger in an area in which you find yourself to be weak in. So knowing that, you must be willing to accept that you need help from others. No matter what your title or position is, you must be able to accept that, and that even though you may be a natural born leader, you still can't do it alone. There's nothing that you can do alone. So that's what I take on that for number 2. Number 3. How might the wolves have benefited if they had been a part of a healthy organization? Well, I say the wolves, even though I don't care about the wolves at this point because they were eating the sheep, but the wolves may have benefited in that they being a part of a healthier organization, because they would have been able to outsmart the sheep and continue, sadly enough, to have them for breakfast. If they had gotten together as a team, because they weren't living in a healthy organization, they were not able to outsmart the sheep in the end, their weakest prey. They weren't able to outsmart them. Okay, so that's what I gather for that one. For my last and final, the reflection here, my thoughts are, I like how the most unlikely person, Marietta was able to figure out what the issue was and how to stop the wolves. Marietta knew that they had to broaden their horizons, to widen their thinking to obtain the goal Otto was trying to put in place before he went to heaven. And she also knew that in order for the sheep to overcome, they had to work together to outsmart those wolves. She knew they had to not only change their way of thinking, but they also needed to change the way they did things and the way they thought. Okay, so that is a major part right there. It's also sad that many people, it was so sad that even in this story, it highlights the real life components of when you are believing in something, you're always going to have somebody that's going to have that negative approach and thinking, no, you can't do it. It's not, that's not the way we've done it. And so you're going to fail. So I like that, it's sadly enough that many people in today's society think that way. And the book was able to highlight that just because something has been a certain way for all our lives, that we don't, that doesn't mean we have to accept it. We don't have to accept that just because our moms and this person and that person went through this, then we can't. That would be the same way as me saying that, because, I'm a black woman, I can't go to college because my great grandparents didn't go, or whatever the case may be. So I think that was a good take to put in the book, because it shows that we don't have to accept a box that society puts us in. We can think outside of that box and go for the goal. I also like that Marietta was a very strong, brave leader. She didn't let the fact that the naysayers were saying and thinking that we could not do this. She continued, and I like that about her. However, Marietta explained, when Marietta explains the wolves could not just jump over the fence, and that pretty much no animal could jump over the fence, she figured it out. And at that time, that the wolves were going underneath the fence at times when it was an increase in dry, hot periods, and that's how they were able to dig and go underneath, instead of it when it stopped when there was an increase in the rain. So it was found out that was the reason, and that was why the wolves were able to get in, and not by jumping over the fence. I do like Gigi as well. Gigi was also very helpful to help get the others involved and on board, to help regain the hope. Because after they figured out they couldn't stop the rain from coming, the group got sad again. But it was Gigi that helped them to regain, to restore them, and help them say, hey, we can still do this. We can outsmart them. So when they knew they couldn't stop the rain, they were able to still be able to keep the wolves out by banding together, everybody jumping on board, doing their part. And it was all because they were able to keep the dream alive and get the teamwork. And it brings me to a point. We were in, I attend Houston's First Baptist Church, which is a close affiliate of HBU. And we have Life Bible class every Sunday morning before our 11 o'clock service. And this is so ironic that we have this book for our last assignment to do a discussion on. We were talking about how dumb sheeps are, but this book is so funny because it highlighted the fact that everybody has survival, and everybody, if they really want something, can really make some change and make things happen. And so we do know that biblically, sheep, and we are sheep, we know the sound of the master's voice, and the sheep know the sound of their shepherd's voice. And so I just felt the need to make that connection because we talked about sheep in Life Bible class about 2 weeks ago. And so I just felt the need to talk about that because I would have never guessed that we would be talking about sheep in my class, and it would come around into me being able to highlight what we talked about in Life Bible class. So that was a treat altogether. So thank you. And see you next semester. Or if I don't see you next semester, Dr. Fridge, I will see you in the fall. Thank you.